Welcome to Real Estate Grad School. We coach experienced real estate agents to create and build the habits and systems that rapidly increase your income, build your team, and allow you a much greater peace of mind. I'm Rich Levin. I've been coaching experienced real estate agents for over 20 years to exceptional success. Come and learn. We're looking at simple ways to have casual conversations that are going to generate leads for you. Casual conversations to generate leads for you. And also how to put yourself in the places where you can have more of those conversations, where you can learn to find the people thinking of buying or selling because they're attracted to those conversations. So we've been talking the last couple of days, we'll wrap it up today, about this topic of talking points. A much more important topic than it looks like on the surface. As a matter of fact, talking points are how the media and the government has been able to influence opinions of an enormous number of Americans. Simple talking points. And it's the way that you can influence people to leverage more business for you. What is a talking point? Simply, I'm going to use the word simply a lot today because this is not complicated stuff. The last two talking points I gave you the last couple of days have been a little complicated. These are simple. A talking point is a rehearsed comment that consciously creates a desired thought. Now let's break this down. Okay, let's unpack this. It's a rehearsed comment. That simply means you've practiced it live. In other words, you've said it to many people until you have gotten very comfortable with it and it rolls off your tongue, or you've practiced it on your own. You've literally practiced it while you're driving, walking down the street, having dinner, whatever. You just practice it, even to yourself, even in your mind. You've practiced it live or long. So it's a rehearsed comment. And it's a comment. It's brief. It's not a conversation. It's part of an ongoing conversation, perhaps, but it's just a comment. It's brief. It's a rehearsed, you practiced it, brief comment that consciously creates. In other words, you're making this comment, you've practiced it, you're making this comment to consciously create a desired thought. You're consciously putting a thought in the other person's mind that you want that thought to be there. You want that thought to be there. So it's a desired thought. It's a thought that leads to the result you want. It's a thought that leads to a result where if they have any thoughts of buying or selling, they're revealing that to you. If they have any thoughts of buying or selling, they are trusting you more. So it's a rehearsed comment that consciously creates a desired thought. It's rehearsed, you practice it. Doesn't take a lot, it's a brief. But it has a purpose, and the purpose is it creates what you want. Now, how do you start these conversations? If people know you're in real estate, you get asked these questions occasionally. How's real estate? Okay, and you need to have a talking point answer to that. That's brief and rehearsed, and consciously causes the other person if the other person's thinking of buying or selling, and when you get questions like this, there's usually something on that person's mind. Okay, maybe years away, but it's on their mind. And you need to have a talking point to lead them to where you want to go. How's business? Or how's the business? Common question is asked of business people and of you when you meet people. How's the market? Often when you're making past client calls, people ask these questions. So how is business? I've heard this or I've heard that. How is the market? And it may be an innocent question, maybe just because they trust your judgment, and I'm sure they do, most of them, perhaps all of them. But it's also a question that they're not going to ask. If real estate is not on their mind at all, they're going to ask how you're doing. How's this selling? Wow, that's a loaded question. That certainly implies the person's thinking of selling or knows somebody who is. What are the interest rates? Could be a very common question because interest rates have been up, and they're up around 7. I didn't check today yet. Do you still sell real estate? Now, I've used that phrase before. If you get that question, you're not doing a good job marketing. No one who knows you and no one you know should ever ask you that question, because you should be marketing them. You need to be marketing that to them enough so that they know you're still in real estate. But if they say, do you still sell real estate? Great. You need a talking point answer to that. You bet I do. Something on your mind. What are you guys up to? A practiced answer to that, rehearsed answer, a talking point answer, so that you can turn that into business. Don't you think prices are too high? I get that one quite a bit myself. Don't you think prices are too high? Again, you need a talking point answer that's positive, that leads a person to want to buy or sell, even though they started out with that question. Realtors are dishonest, or some variation of that. You guys are all dishonest, man. I know. I bought 6 houses, and every one of you guys, etc. And you need a talking point answer to that. You need to say, wow, your lucky day. You've met the honest one. There's a few of us out there. What are you thinking? You guys thinking about doing something? You know, because if your experience has been dishonest agents, you're going to enjoy working with me. You know, what's on your mind. So those are talking points, rehearsed comments that consciously create the desired thought. The process I'm demonstrating to you is very simple. 2 simple steps. 1, answer the question as briefly and honestly as possible. I'm going to go over some samples with you now. Answer their question. Don't avoid their question. Don't talk around their question. Don't have them roll their eyes. Oh man, I'm sorry I asked the question. No, just answer honestly and briefly, and then ask what's on their mind. That's it. Answer honestly and briefly, and ask what's on their mind. I'm going to repeat this a number of times today. So somebody says, how is real estate right now? Maybe it's somebody you're talking to on the phone. Maybe it's somebody you run into. Could be anybody. How's real estate right now? So you might say, you know, if you've owned a home for the past 5 years or longer, it's terrific, because prices have gone up a lot. Many people have added literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity to their home. It's like hundreds of thousands of dollars to their savings account. It's really been remarkable if you've owned a home, you know, for 5 years or longer. You guys thinking about doing something, or do you know somebody thinking of buying or selling or investing? Answer as briefly and honestly as possible, then ask what's on their mind. If you owned a home, you know, price has gone up a lot. And then see where they go with that conversation. Somebody says, how's the business? If you mean real estate, it's good, although for agents, it's always hard. You know, right now there's a lot of people buying, but still far too few houses for sale. So it's a good market because houses are selling, but I have to work really hard to find homes to sell. People who may be selling, I have to work really hard, and work really hard to find the best homes for buyers, because there's often more than one buyer for each home. Are you guys thinking about doing something with real estate? That's an interesting answer. I've used these talking points even recently. The people that I hang out with here, even in Israel, most of the people I hang out with in Israel are Americans, unfortunately. I'd like to hang out with more Israelis, but the community I'm in is a lot of Americans. And a lot of them still own real estate or have relatives who are buying or selling, etc. So I get asked a lot of questions. People know what I do. Why? Because I engage people in these kinds of conversations. And the people know, hey, if you want to know some of the real estate in the States, particularly, I get questions about real estate here. Why? Because I've engaged in these kinds of conversations, and I'll explain to you how to make sure you're the go-to person for that too before we're done. Again, it's a simple process. Answer honestly and briefly, and then ask what's on their mind. You know, don't you think prices are too high? You might say, I would say, I have said, real estate prices are always too high. If you're buying, it always feels like you're paying too much. And they're always the right price. Real estate, I like to say, real estate is an honest market. I know it sounds funny, but buyers are paying what they have to. They could pay less, they would. And sellers are getting what they can get. If they could get more, they would. I can tell you more about all that if you like, but we have so many buyers and so few houses for sale. The prices are going to continue not only to be high relative to what they were last year and the year before, but they're not going down any too soon and will likely continue to rise. Are you guys planning to buy or something or to invest? Remember, simple process, answer as honestly and briefly as possible, and then ask what's on their mind. So a few simple rules. If what you say is at all negative, don't say anything at all. Talk to me first. If what you say is negative, don't say anything. Just hold your tongue. Call me, get on a live call, text me. Use WhatsApp, please. Or email me, because we need to talk about how to respond and how to keep you from being negative. People who are up to something, people who are up there, they're going to buy, they're going to sell, they're going to move, they're doing something, they're attracted and they want to associate with the positive. I have some negative people around me. I avoid them, but you don't want to do business with them. Hell, most people don't want to hang out with them except other negative people. So a few simple rules, keep it positive. Number 2, tell the truth and keep it simple. Number 3, don't talk about specific people, never name people, or specific properties. Unless they ask, like, what did that house sell for? But even if they ask, you know what so-and-so, did so-and-so buy a house? I say, honestly, I don't share that kind of information. I just sort of, find it's best for everybody. If you want something about that person, you need to ask that person. So don't talk about specific people or properties unless they ask. And get the contact info of the person and follow up with them. Call them just to say how they're doing and if they have any more questions. Of course, share your contact information. Give them a card, share your contact on your phone to phone, but be sure to get their information. A few simple rules. Be positive, tell the truth, keep it simple. Don't talk about other people or properties specifically, and get the contact information. And find the opportunities to be with people. Go to gatherings, even if you don't want to go anyway. And take an interest in other people, not agent gatherings. Any other kind of picnics, parties, whatever you can find, clubs, organizations, places of worship, whatever. Go to gatherings, classes, sports. Go to gatherings and take an interest in others. How you doing? You live around here? When did you start playing? When did you start doing this? Have you been in this organization long? Do you know the person who invited us here? Take an interest in other people. Don't think about yourself. It's about other people. Hold open houses where you expect traffic. Don't hold open houses if nobody's going to come. When you have a newer listing or the opportunity to hold open a newer listing and you know it's going to get a lot of interest, hold it open. Call past clients. Just call people you sold houses to, recent and in the past, to check in on how they're doing. And you'll find the opportunities to have these conversations. And when you follow up on leads, literally somebody calls you about a house or calls you on a sign, internet lead, ask if they have any questions about the market or interest rates and things like that. Just say, I can give you information on the house, and then when you're done, any questions you have just about the market, interest rates, things like that, and they'll open these conversations and they will appreciate that. Become everyone's honest real estate expert. Become everyone's honest real estate expert. Man, I can think of 2 or 3, dozens of others who I sold houses because somebody called me. They'd been working with other agents and they ran into somebody who knew me or had done business with me. And they said, look, you were recommended. We've been working with so-and-so, we've been working with this other agent, but we'd like to talk to you. And unless they were under contract, I picked up a lot of leads that other agents weren't as positive, weren't as strong, and didn't offer what I did. Do you know one of those agents, somebody who does well, and you can't quite figure out how they do what they do? When you ask them, they say that they don't even do anything special. It just seemed to run into a lot of people who are thinking of selling. This is the kind of conversation that's just simply natural for those people. They literally just do it naturally, but you don't have to wait to do naturally. You can learn for it to be natural for you. Just click on the link below. I'd look forward to speaking with you.